Look, fellas, when it comes to getting the God roll, you know how it is. Every small, incremental percentage can make all the difference. And very often, it could be that this difference is between winning that trials match or surviving a raid encounter or getting that coveted exotic, which is why we have partnered with Upside. Upside is a free app that helps us earn back a percentage of the money you spend each and every day. You see, guys, Upside partners with over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants, all of which will get you cash back on daily essential purchases. I literally used Upside the other day when filling up my gas tank. Keep in mind, this is not points. This is real cash that you get back, transferred right into your bank account. What's so amazing here is you don't even need to switch payment methods. You just link the current card you have now to the app, which is incredible because every single one of these deals is normally like, hey, sign the dotted line, get this new credit card, and hopefully let's get you into some debt so we can start accruing that interest. But that's not the case here with Upside. Frequent Upside users earn 3 times more cash back than other loyalty programs, and top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month, which goes to show just how those small purchases add up over time. So again, if you're interested in trying this out today, click the link in the description to download the free Upside app and use promo code Aztecross. And this will get you back 25 extra cents of every gallon on your first tank of gas. Big thanks to Upside for sponsoring today's video. Today, we're going to be going over the new destination, the Pale Hearts, including its new activities, its quests, and rewards. Now, this destination is the first of its kind, as opposed to the standard fully connected maps that we've seen before. Bungie has designed this destination to be extremely linear, and if you actually take a look at the map, you see it. Now, it may just look like a skinny linear map, but it's a thick boy. This is by far the biggest destination Bungie has ever given us. Now, first things first, to be able to explore and experience all that this destination offers, you'll have to finish the Final Shape campaign. Now, while the campaign introduces you to each area in the map, you aren't able to return to a prior area until you've completed the story, which I know is a lot different than what we're used to in the past, as normally the destination opens up and you can start jumping into things immediately. Now, before we move on to any activities or new systems, let's take a look at how to unlock the new destination weapons. And yes, these are craftable. Before weapons start dropping from activities, and before you can focus them at your ghosts, they have to be earned. Now, shortly after you finish the main campaign for the Final Shape, you will receive a quest called Destined Heroes. Now, essentially, just progress this quest until you meet a character named Micah 10. This character will be offering you all the quests that progressively unlock the new Pale Heart weapons. Now, Micah 10's quest revolves around searching for lost ghosts across the Pale Heart and healing the traveler. Now, these ghosts can be found in areas denoted on the map in this large gray circle. Now, I know there's probably multiple circles for you. Don't worry, this will share the quest's name. But the way these circles work is that these are just search areas. You can select them and you'll get a waypoint to that area, but once you arrive in that area, you'll have to look around a bit to find where those ghosts are. Now, the first quest of this nature is Convalescence Rootbound. This will take you to the Blooming Deep Lost Sector, and the ghost here is located right in the boss room. After finding and interacting with the ghost, you'll then be asked to head back to Micah 10, and you'll be rewarded from this particular quest, the Shotgun Someday. The beautiful thing about all this, guys, is there are always going to be red borders as your reward. Now, the second quest is Convalescence Underbrush. This will task you with obtaining 2 Flickering Blessing mods. Now, we're going to go over these mods in detail shortly, but these are best earned from the Pathfinder assignments. Now, you can see these assignments marked on your map with the Pathfinder icon. Now, let me just say Pathfinder is a whole nother thing, and we'll be talking about that here shortly. Now, the reward for that quest is the new machine gun Pro Memoria. Finally, the third quest is Convalescence Greenery. This will have you complete a Sis activity, which will have you follow a hawk made of light through certain parts of the Pale Hearts. The starting locations of the Sis activities will be marked on your map once you acquire this quest. Now, throughout the Sis activity, the main mechanic will be a Hive Sword that you'll need to use to damage immune shields and Hive corruption. Then at the very end, you'll face off against 3 Hive Guardians. Completing this quest, though, will give you the Embrace Identity Sniper. Now, Micah has similar quests to this one right here for all the Pale Heart weapons. And guys, you have to do these if you're looking to get any of these weapons, especially the red borders. As well, you can also get the Microcosm quests from Micah, which we already have a guide on. Micah will also offer additional quests with various rewards. One of them offered a Pale Heart weapon bundle that gave me 2 red border weapons. Not sure if that's good RNG or if it happens for everyone. Others give strange coins, an Ascendant Shard, an Ascendant Alloy, and a Deep Sight Harmonizer. There's also 5 quests for all new destination armor, which can only be obtained on one character, but once collected, it unlocks that armor on other characters to be purchased at Ghosts. Now these quests are all very simple and have you essentially replaying an old campaign mission or a strike, then searching for a lost ghost on the destination. Additionally, once you've progressed Micah enough, you'll get a repeatable quest called Alone in the Dark, which when completed, you can choose your reward being either the hand cannon, fusion rifle, or sword, which is the chance to be a red border. Now once obtaining 3 of these pale heart weapons from the quest, you'll be able to focus 1 red border at Ghost once per reset. This is a beautiful upgrade, guys. Make sure you select it. You'll also be able to focus the weapons once you obtain them. Keep in mind, guys, the cost is pretty steep, as this requires 4 pale heart Ingrams and 3,000 glimmer. Now once you hit rank 10, you'll also get an upgrade from your Ghost, which allows you to earn the first 5 pale heart Ingrams at an increased rate each reset. But now we need to talk about the Pathfinder system, as well as the new destination mod system that we mentioned earlier. Now these systems may seem overwhelming and complicated, but it's fairly straightforward. Located though at the top of the pale heart map, towards the center, is this large star-like icon. This is your Pathfinder menu. When you click on it, it'll bring you to the screen, and this is the Pathfinder system that's found in a ritual playlist, as well as here at the pale heart. Now as you can see, there are several circle nodes strewn about, with lines interconnecting between, leading to rewards at the end of the far right. Now each of these circles is an objective, and when you hover over them, it'll explain how to complete it. Now your goal here is to complete nodes from left to right, and essentially create a path that's traveling through different nodes until it reaches the end on the right, giving you your reset reward for Pathfinder. Now you can choose the progress your path takes, and you can honestly select any of the nodes, and I would select them just because the XP is really good. But your path here does not have to be linear. You could select literally every node before you reach the center. Now the different type of objectives that you'll find here include field assignments, calibrations, and ventures. Field assignments requires you to go to a certain part of the pale heart, and you'll see these marked with Pathfinder symbols, and you'll need to kill a specific high-tier enemy. And to do these, just simply make your way to the marker, kill the enemies until your target appears. Now, calibrations have you kill enemies in certain ways, certain weapons, or in certain areas. And ventures requires you to make progress in loot chests in the new destination activity Overthrow, which we're going to be going over in great depth later in this video. Now, as you finish these objectives, you can return to your Pathfinder menu to claim these objective nodes, earning you XP as you forge a path towards rewards. Now, after you claim rewards, you can reset a Pathfinder's path and start all over. Now, we haven't reset it multiple times yet, but Bungie did say you can reset it as many times as you want, but there are diminishing returns. And eventually, you're just going to get XP, an Ingram, and some vendor rep, but you won't get that Ergo Sum exotic sword. Now, what are destination mods? Now, if you look on the directory of the Pale Heart, there is a menu located just above the Pale Heart Pathfinder node. And these mods give you different buffs for varying periods of time while you are in the Pale Heart. Now on the right of this menu are the mods known as Pale Blessing mods. These mods provide a wide variety of different benefits, but you can only select one active mod at any given time. Now your options here include increased melee regeneration, grenade regeneration, increased class ability regeneration, providing a regenerating overshield, increased health regeneration, increased super regeneration, and finally a mod that provides one of these benefits at random. Now these Pale Blessing mods are obtained through chests and Overthrow missions, and once selected, they can be activated by interacting with the Traveler Flowers. Now, where do you find these flowers? Well, you plant them. As you complete Overthrow activities, occasionally you will obtain an item called Luminescent Seed. In tandem with this seed, there are several small statues of hands that are placed around the Pale Heart, and especially around Overthrow zones. You'll know you have the right hand statue because it'll look ashen, as if it's been burnt, and it's reaching out of the ground towards the sky with its palm open as if it's looking to receive a gift. When you bring a seed to these statues, you can plant it to grow these flowers, which when interacted with, grant you a selected Pale Blessing mod buff for a duration up to 5 minutes. Additionally, these statue areas are marked on your HUD when you're in possession of a luminescent seed. Now those are the Pale Blessing mods. On the left-hand side of our menu, we have Flickering Blessing mods. Now these modifiers contain more mechanical benefits compared to their Pale counterparts. However, just like on the right side, you can only choose one mod from the left side to be active at a single time. These mods include create orbs or elemental pickups on kills, send out a flaming shockwave when sliding after a sprint, cause you to be amplified by sprinting, and giving your melee chain lightning while amplified, causing void kills to create void seekers, cause stasis kills to create stasis mines that freeze enemies, and cause strand kills to create threadlings. There's also one that allows your finisher to power up your grenade and cause your grenades to create special and your supers to create heavy. Now these mods are very potent. Flickering Blessing mods, once selected though, are always active in the Pale Hearts, which is surprising considering how potent they are, whereas Pale Blessings require light flowers. Now these mods can be obtained by opening any chest in the Pale Heart, but they have the greatest chance of dropping actually from the Pathfinder field assignment chests, the things we talked about earlier. These chests are tied to an objective in your Pathfinder's path, and they can be found on the map denoted by the Pathfinder symbol in a particular zone. Keep in mind, all these destination mods expire though after 24 to 28 hours. So you'll have to find new ones once that happens. But let me just say, guys, these mods are extremely potent. I'm literally shooting flames out my rear every time I slide. And considering the main focus is going to be us farming Overthrow, I highly advise taking advantage of these blessings. Now, if you come across these dark chests while in the Pale Heart, guys, this is completely unrelated from the Overthrow activities. This right here is actually tied to obtaining your prismatic fragments, which we have an entire guide on. But they all have various mechanics tied to them. Some of them require you to shoot these balls that go on top of the platform. Others require you to follow these light sources around the map until it leads to the spore that you shoot. And I would advise, if you do come across these chests, as they are not marked by your ghost, to stop and do them, especially if you're trying to get fragments. Now, let's talk about Overthrow. This is the new activity introduced in the Vine of Shape, and you'll recognize it as these nodes here on your map. Now, the main goal of this activity is to complete several smaller encounters, and they'll contribute points to an overarching score. And you progress through 4 different phases of the activity. Now, each phase requires 1,000 points to proceed, and these points can be earned in a plethora of ways. You can get it by killing enemies, which contributes a small amount. We're talking like a single point per kill, but of course it slowly adds up. Collecting the Witness's Stigma destination resources will add 15 points. Looting just random chests will add 25 points. However, the most effective way to earn points by far is just complete any instance of the several public event style encounters that spawn around the Overthrow zone. Now, each encounter rewards a substantial 450 points to your score. This means between all your kills, chest looting, and resources that you pick up, you'll likely finish each phase in just 2 encounters. Now, the first 3 phases here of an Overthrow activity will have you completing these encounters to progress, but phase 4 will summon the activity boss with a host of light mechanics. Now, let me go over the zones for Overthrow. The 3 zones that Overthrow is currently available in is in the Landing, the Blooming, and the Impasse. Now, upon completing the activity, you'll have a chance to be rewarded with any Pale Heart weapon that you have unlocked. And not only that, it has a chance to be deep sight. You also have a chance to earn a Pale Blessing mod upon looting the final boss chest, alongside being rewarded a Luminescent Seed, and the boss will drop a Mote of Light. Additionally, one of these 3 Overthrow zones will be marked as a main Overthrow activity for the day. You can tell which one has currently been marked by looking for the larger Overthrow symbol, which if selected, you can launch it into a match-made version of this activity. Now, if you unlock the exotic sword Ergo Sum, the daily Overthrow will reward a guaranteed drop of Ergo Sum, which has no limit to how many you can farm. Now, this main Overthrow changes location every day at reset, and it appears to follow the pattern of the Impasse, the Blooming, and finally the Landing. We'll see if that changes up at all. Now, I want to give a breakdown of each Overthrow activity, as they actually do change depending on its location. So here, let's start with the Landing. The Landing Overthrow activity has you fighting against the Lucent Hive, and of course, plenty of Hive Guardians. Now, the encounters in this area derive a lot from several Hive-based encounters that we've seen in the past. Many encounters we've seen include wizards and knights who are shielded, and you must break their shield in some way. Usually this involves breaking a Hive crystal to bring their shield down, or standing in a green pool while shooting a knight to damage it, similar to Wrathborn from previous seasons. Now, other encounters include Hive symbols that float off the cliffside at different depths away from you. For this encounter, you must kill a knight who will drop an item that is dunked into a Hive receptacle. These receptacles have Hive symbols on them that correspond to the floating symbols, and you want to deposit into the bins which symbol matches whatever floating symbol is closest to you. Now, each time you deposit, a symbol will disappear, and after 3 symbols, the encounter will end. A similar encounter with shields will see a floating wizard on the cliffside, a knight who drops a spherical relic, and a portal. To be able to kill the wizard with a shield, you must first kill the knight and obtain its relic. Once you're holding its relic, leap through the portal, and this will teleport you slightly backwards, and you'll consume the relic to give you a shield breaker buff, allowing you to then kill the wizard. Now, kill this wizard 3 times, and the encounter will end. Now, after doing these various objectives, you will eventually reach wave 4, and the boss will spawn. The boss for the Landing is a Hive Guardian who's pretty straightforward. His health is divided into thirds, and each time you clear one of its thresholds, it will become immune, and several green orbs will spawn around the field. Now, in order to destroy these, this, you must kill one of the many knights that are now running around and pick up their swords. Using the sword's range attack will destroy these green orbs, and once every orb is taken care of, the boss will become vulnerable again. Do this dance one more time, and you have defeated the Landing's Overthrow boss. Now this takes us to the Blooming. The Blooming Overthrow primarily features Taken as your enemy faction. Some of the following are events you'll encounter during this Overthrow activity though. If you see two blinds that spawn up next to a tree of silver wings that cannot be destroyed, the encounter will play out as follows. The blinds will spawn an endless wave of scions, which need to be killed to spawn a large Taken portal. Now jumping through this portal makes you torn between dimensions and allows you to run across some previously invisible platforms. Now you'll scale these platforms to find a relic at the end that's capable of destroying one of the two blinds. Now once both blinds are destroyed, this encounter will end. Another encounter will see several large blinds spawn down by the riverbank. For this, you'll want to keep killing enemies until one drops an orange sphere, which you can then throw at a shielded wizard. Doing this will spawn a portal that takes you to a new area that contains a shielded ogre and several floating Taken orbs. Now shooting orbs will destroy them, and shooting all the orbs will bring the ogre's shield down, allowing you to kill it and end the encounter. Now there's an encounter that summons two boss level ogres, and all you have to do here is kill both to finish this encounter. Now the boss for this area will be one of 3 large Taken enemies. However, the mechanics are consistent across all 3. Once again, the boss has its health separated into thirds, and dealing a third of its health will then make it immune. Now to break the immune shield, you'll see these cursed thrall that spawn, and when you kill them, you'll see that they drop a green pool at the ground. And you gotta stand in them, and you'll see this meter filling up. And when it fills up completely, you now have the buff, which when you get close to the boss, will explode and then destroy that boss's shield. Now you can skip that third immunity phase, and we've done it. Essentially just have somebody also get the buff, wait for the shield to pop, then do damage very fast, and then proceed to take that same buff without having to waste the time of killing another cursed thrall and standing in that pool. Take that same volatile buff though, step inside the area, and blast the shield again. You can do it literally back to back. Now the next area is the Impasse. Here you'll be facing primarily Dread as well as Taken, and a lot of Tormentors and Subjugators. Now once this encounter starts, you'll find a Tormentor or Subjugator who's locked up in a Darkness Resonance bubble. To clear this encounter, you must find an enemy who's labeled as a Gatekeeper. This enemy will drop a Darkness Key object. Now once you pick this up, take it to the locked up Dread and set them free. And upon killing the Tormentor or Subjugator, it will drop its chest and the encounter will be completed. Another encounter seen in this area starts with a giant blind surrounded by Taken. The goal here is to destroy the blind, but in order to do that, you must damage it with these Vex Craniums. Now to obtain these Vex Craniums, there'll be these Taken Minotaurs nearby that drop them on death. Collect the cranium, step inside the bubble, and then shoot the blind. Now you may have to do this a number of times, but once the blind is destroyed, the encounter will be completed. And the boss for the final wave in this area will be a boss tier Subjugator. And just like the last 2 zones, their health is going to be split up into 3 bars. When this boss hits its immune phase, there'll be several darkness shards that will spawn around the arena, but you need to pick all these up to break the boss's shield and continue damage. Do this for a total of 2 times, and the boss will be dead. Now this is of course just some examples of objectives that you'll find in Overthrow. For the most part, they're all pretty simple, and if you're ever just lost on what to do, just kill enemies in the area and see if they drop anything that you can pick up. Also look for objects around you may be able to shoot or interact with. There's also usually markers that will point you in the right direction as well. Again though, for the most part, these are pretty straightforward, and being in a fire team definitely helps too. Just make sure if you're trying to farm the Ergosum sword, always hit the daily rotating one. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what is the best way to farm for red border weapons in the Pale Heart? Unfortunately so far, we haven't been able to find any type of cheese, but we do think that red borders are pretty plentiful. Really, it just comes down to playing Overthrow. At the end, you always have a chance of getting a weapon drop, and normally half the time they happen to be red borders, maybe a bit less. You'll also be earning Pale Heart Ingrams from the end of the activity chest, as well as from the chests of the public event activities you do to progress Overthrow. And even random world chests that you find can drop Pale Heart Ingrams. So definitely have your tracker mod on for your ghost that pings up where these chests are in your vicinity. Then you take those Ingrams, focus them over at ghosts if you're specifically trying to farm for a particular weapon or get red borders for that weapon. Keep in mind the cost here is very high. Everything is going to come down to RNG, and in my opinion, outside of the weekly guaranteed red border, I would just decrypt my Ingrams randomly. Now again, you can also do the Alone in the Dark quest that we mentioned earlier. For these quests, you'll need to find a lost ghost in a lost sector. Then it'll task you to do an Overthrow, which allows you to double up on 2 things at once, that being playing Overthrow normally and progressing the quests. Then once enough Overthrow chests are open, you then need to do a Sys mission. Again, these are faster in fire teams, but they aren't overly difficult. Then again, at the end, you could choose between 3 rewards rewards with a chance of getting a red border. So guys, that is our guide to the Pale Heart. Make sure you do those quests through Micah 10, get those weapons unlocked, especially so you can start farming for red borders for each of these, farm up overthrow activities, collect Pale Heart Ingrams, take those Ingrams and focus them here back at the tower, and always make sure you're slotting in those blessings. Those blessings right there are incredibly potent, guys, especially the ones on the left. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.